As we've mentioned in previous videos, there are many types of buy-in transactions. Of course, it could be an asset purchase, a stock purchase, a 336E transaction. So it's very important that you have someone working with you on these transactions that can make sure that these particular transactions are handled correctly, both with your new accounting file moving forward, because that is the foundation of your accounting, is to make sure we're starting from a good foundation, and also for that first year tax return, to make sure that that transaction is handled properly. A lot of these transactions can be very cumbersome, and the tax work can be very difficult. A lot of them require special elections, short year tax returns. You may have to establish a new entity, new account numbers, depending on the type of transaction that you have. So it's very important that you're working with someone who understands pharmacy and understands how to handle these correctly from the very beginning, because you don't want to have problems years down the road from it not being done correctly to begin with. But once we get that set up and going, what we're working towards, we set up a new QuickBooks account. In most situations, a QuickBooks Online account. We're making sure that that transaction, that sale of the pharmacy, is handled and recorded correctly. We get closing documents from that transaction, make sure they're handled properly, and we move forward with the tax return in that first year, making sure that all of those things are handled properly and correctly with the tax law. And what we're working towards is moving forward in a real-time accounting system in which you have up-to-date real-time information as you move forward with the pharmacy. So in the first year with Sykes, once we've handled the transaction, we've done that first year tax return, everything's recorded correctly, we're working toward a real-time accounting system and those month-end financial statements. We are going down the balance sheet, tying in every single number at the end of each month, and quickly preparing financial statements that we can schedule video calls with you, pull those numbers up on the screen. You're always going to have a team with Sykes & Company of about 3 or 4 people that completely understand your situation and your pharmacy and your business, so that anytime you call or anytime you email, if one of us is on vacation, there will always be a backup here that understands your account. But we'll have these video calls with everyone on board. We go down your numbers line by line. The way that we're tying in a lot of these numbers is we gain access to as many of the online accounts as possible, including your wholesaler account. We want to pull those accounts payable statements at the end of each month, the invoices throughout the month, to make sure that we have those balances tied in at the end of the month correctly. We want to use your perpetual inventory system numbers to make sure that when we're doing those financial statements at month end, that we're adjusting to your inventory balance correctly, so that we can see what gross profit margins that you have. We pull your credit card statements at the end of the month and tie those in, any loan documentations and loan statements to make sure those balances are correct. And we get access to your third-party reconciliation service to pull those month-end statements as well, to make sure that third-party balances are correctly tied in. We get audit logs from our clients to make sure that those are reasonable and that tie in with the financials as well. And so we have these video calls. We're looking at all these numbers. We're using benchmarks from the NCPA to see things that look out of whack, that look like they're problematic, things that look in line, so that we can make changes and make plans to alleviate some of the problems that are there. The next thing we move into is tax planning. Usually about the 4th quarter of the year, we start looking at that and how your business tax return is going to, and income is going to affect you on a personal level. The majority of our clients are S corporations that income flows through, or loss flows through, to their personal return. So we're looking at estimating what the income is going to be for the year, and things that we can do to mitigate the tax to keep that as low as possible for our clients. We look at retirement options. We look at things that the pharmacy may need to purchase that can bring down the income, that can make the pharmacy more efficient. And so all this is working toward assisting in that area. And then obviously it goes into the tax work at the end of the year. So there are no surprises when we do your tax return in March. You're going to know kind of how that's going to affect you personally and what that tax return is going to look like. And that's what we're working toward during the first year, for the first months, and moving forward with the pharmacy.